And joining us right now live from Washington, D.C. is Congressman Scott Peters. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Erica. How are you?
Doing well, doing really well. You said you really want to work to find a solution that everybody can agree on. What do you see as a possible solution?
Well, I guess I don't think that shutting down the government is the right way to do legislation. I'm pretty, one of the things that got me interested in Congress in the first place was when 2011, when we had this showdown and we got our credit rating downgraded for the first time in our nation's history. I think the main thing is to stand back and figure out what needs to be fixed. And on Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act, I think there are a lot of things that we need to work on, and I think we ought to recognize right now it's not going away, but we ought to be sitting around and figuring out what would make it better so that it worked for families and for businesses, and particularly for small businesses.
Hey, Congressman, this is Raul here. I had a question. So many people were running for Congress the last election, and they all seem to have a similar stance. Where I'm going to Washington, I'm going to change the way things work, I'm going to have the parties working together. How are you finding that to be working so far? Because all we're seeing from our point of view is the same old out of Washington, D.C.
Well, and I guess, I would say it hasn't, we're not really having a very good day on that score by any means. I'm trying to, I get on the plane every week to try to find solutions and to come work with people. And unfortunately, I think there's still a lot of intractability here. I've actually proposed a way around the debt ceiling fight that Simpson and Bowles, who did the bipartisan budget study, have suggested would be a way out, where we could not only not shut down the government, not threaten the credit markets, and so forth, but we actually could deal with the national debt, managing that without just talking about it and blaming each other. Explain
your thoughts on what the House passed, trying to delay Obamacare for a year, not eliminating it altogether, just delaying it for a year. Explain what that entails and why the President and the Senate are pretty much saying, no way.
Well, as you said, I'm new here. I wasn't here when the health care law was passed. But it seems to me that, it passed Congress, the President signed it, it's been blessed by the Supreme Court, it's survived 40 repeal challenges, and I think that those people who are so wrapped up in that are really fighting a battle from 2 years ago. And now we've had a presidential election where, Obamacare was one of the main features, and President Obama was reelected. So my thought is, let's sit down and fix what has to be fixed, because the law is not perfect, far from it. But we're not going to have a different health care law. So what I think it's unproductive to insist that this is going to go away, that President Obama is going to agree to abandon his signature domestic achievement. That's just my observation. But I do hear from businesses and from families that there's a lot of uncertainty about the law. I think that there are things we need to fix. There are taxing provisions like the medical device tax that I don't think make sense. But that's what I'd like to focus on, and I think that's why the American people sent us out here, not to set these really hard positions and then just point fingers.
Congressman, I'm on your Facebook page, and this person posted recently, why can't we pass a budget instead of passing continuing resolutions? Seems like Congress is missing the point altogether. Maybe as a freshman congressman, you don't get it. But you are more a representation of the people than is the president or senators. Your job depends on how you represent your constituents and local economy, and not how well you support your own party's politics. What do you say to that?
Well, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, I ran on something called no budget, no pay. The idea is that if Congress doesn't do its job and pass the budget, we shouldn't get paid. And I have tried to be independent. I think I've been rated by National Journal the fourth most independent Democrat in Congress. I don't always vote with my party. I'm trying to make the government work, and that's why I'm out here. If someone's got a good idea, I think I've shown that I'm someone who will work on it. Right now, we have to get to the point where we want to keep the government open. We ought to be spending the time until November 15th, when the funding would be proposed to be continued. We ought to be passing a budget, I think that the academics of that are a lot easier than the politics. But that's why I come out here. I'd like to work on those things, and I'm as frustrated as anybody that I can't even get a vote on the House floor on a continuing resolution without these conditions that will never be agreed to, and it looks like we appear to be headed toward a shutdown.
And we've mentioned that it would be the first time in almost 2 decades that this has happened. You're getting the sense right now, you just went into session a few minutes ago. What is your sense? Is this really going to happen? Are we going to have a last-second, last-minute solution to this? Or what are your, give me like a percentage-wise of what you think.
Well, I hope so. You know, Raul, I'm not invited to the real meetings. The real meetings are the majority is the Republicans right now. And I'm an American. I'm a Democrat, but I'm an American who wants a functional Republican Party. And right now, they're just frankly at war with themselves. They've got a big rift. I don't think this is any secret. They've got some people who really don't seem to care if the government shuts down, and then they've got some more reasonable people. And right now, we're trying to see who will prevail in that. The way the House works is I don't get to put something on the House floor on my own. We have to wait for the majority to do that. So the Republicans will decide what we get to vote on tonight. I hope we get to vote on a clean continuing resolution that will fund the government so we can get away from this government by crisis. And then we should sit down around a table and figure out how to pass a budget.
Congressman Scott Peters, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
I'm sorry I had to come back here from San Diego. My wife keeps reminding me how nice it is out there.
I bet she does.
She's putting the hurt to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. What will that government shutdown, if it happens tonight, what will it mean to us?
Fox 5's